Hallelujah. Okay, so the description of the first 15 to 20 minutes that we're doing now is just describe to you what I do, what it is that I do. And I am you. You are me. We're all exactly the same. And you can feel it now as in this room, all of our hearts are connected. If you go right into that centre part of this, we're all the same. So what I do is just an aspect of what all of us are doing now, and it's loving each other. How that manifests in the real world, each of us does it in our own ways, whether it's working with our children or our families or our community or in our work or in healing or in your jobs or your relationships. And what I've chosen to do is primarily a mother of three incredible, I think, very, very conscious pregnancies. Had these guides around me who asked to be born, and I spent an incredible effort creating a cellular structure within my body, cleaning up my cellular structure, all of my meridians, doing yoga for many years. I haven't drunk since I was 22. I've really, really worked incredibly hard since I had an epiphany at 21 to become as sensitive as I possibly can, so that to create a cellular structure within my body that's able to release shit easily. Excuse my language, but you know what I'm talking about. So I've worked really hard at that. My children are at an age now of three incredible beings who, I was very conscious of them as guides, felt them coming in and out of me while I was pregnant, and then felt them quicken, and they worked with me, and then we had amazing conscious births, and they're very, very, very present children today. Once that phase of my life is starting to move on, I transferred that level of energy and that level of knowing and that level of sensitivity into being around others. And I'm conscious of the fact that I can be in a cafe or a room and people will go into a spontaneous healing experience with tears and those sorts of things, and all it is releasing. And we hold space for each other whether we know it or not. If you're a really honest person and you go to work in a company that's corrupt, you have a choice. You take on the energy of that company where you hold the space of honesty, and the people around you start to become more honest, or they leave. So we're all just holding space for each other. So there's three aspects to what I do in a practical way and the way I work with people. One of them is my former husband had a death experience at the age of 40, and he went down the golden tunnel, and they said, do you want to go now, or do you want to come back and do your work? And he said, but I've been working all my life. And they said, yeah, the work you came here to do. And he said, fine, I'm not afraid of hard work. And bang, he was back in his body. He spent 7 years becoming an incredible healer. And then I met him, and we travelled the planet, and he was being guided to build a specific technology which has a remarkable effect on the cellular structure of the body, on the mitochondria of the cell. I won't go into the details of it now, but if anybody's interested, there's a book going around, and I can send you the details, but it's a phenomenal technology. I work with it when I use it. If you're finding that your cells are lagging behind, and you're conscious that there's moves and shifts that are going on the planet and you're not feeling them, or you feel like you need a lift or a boost, this is the sort of technology that helps. It's incredibly subtle, it's very gentle, but it makes phenomenal shifts in the cellular structure. And I spent 10 years working the medical model. I traveled the world, going to medical conferences, bringing lecturers in from New York, speaking to doctors and who are the hardest people to talk to about healing or alternative medicine or alternative health. And I did my healing work with that massage table in medical clinics, seeing guides, hearing angels, seeing all this phenomenal stuff, but having to speak to the patient instead of talking about chakras and energy fields and their dead mother that's standing there wanting to talk to them. I spoke to them about the glandular issues that were going on, or the blockages in their lymphatic system, or the whole, those sorts of things. I kept it very, very practical, very real for the first 10 years. And any of you who know about this work, it's very easy to get lost in the jargon. It's very easy to get lost in the whiffle and the hugs and the stuff. And it took a hell of a lot to stay very grounded, and my husband was guided during that time to keep that medical technology very left brain, very medical. So we actually spent millions of dollars and 7 years getting it through the FDA in the US, so it's thoroughly protected, so it's in there in the ground. Now, I had to make a decision. There was a level of growth I had to go to in March last year, and I separated from my husband, and I entered into this incredible experience of celibacy, which is a whole other story, but an incredible experience of all of a sudden coming out of the closet, being a healer, having people on the table and being able to talk about the entities that are being released from their body, or how I can feel the first 9 lovers they had, or I can feel the traumatic, painful experience they had at the age of 16, all based in their spinal cord. I do Craniosacral Therapy as one of the aspects of healing that I can do, which is, has anyone heard of Craniosacral Therapy? Yeah, okay. So that's working with the cranium and the sacrum, the sacral region. Now all of that is connected with like a spider web of tissue, okay? And that tissue holds your organs in place, it holds your ribs in place, it holds the brain in place. Now, if there's a part of that that's going through dysfunction, either it's your ex-husband who, you know, is holding on to you, or there's money issues, or you had a traumatic experience with your father when he was 7 because he yelled at you, all of that can be locked into the cellular structure. And if you imagine that spider web, we should be able to pluck one part of it, and a harmonic resonance coming through from the cosmos might be coming through on a particular day. Our whole cellular structure should be able to hum like a harp. Am I right? Yeah. You know, you should be able to just feel that and just go, ooh, and just feel it go straight through you. When you've got some issues locked into those cells, what happens? There's discord, there's disharmony. Okay, so what happens is in a combination of energy, sometimes using the technology, sometimes not, sometimes using other beings that are working with me, sometimes it's just your father or your grandfather or your child that's passed away, or an aborted child who's grown beside you because they couldn't leave you because you were still in pain with that aborted child. Sometimes it's that very third dimensional realm. You know, you might have a grandmother who was your sole source of love when you were 3 years old, and that grandmother comes through and just sits in my chest and sends that love through my hands into people's hearts. But other times I get asked, and it's a deep honor, any of you that work with those greater beings know the honor, the absolute honor, you know, of the privilege of working with some of those incredible beings that want to come through us, like Palladian energy, the golden beings. There's you know, often I work with Mary comes through, and she's been coming through all afternoon to come here this evening, and so some of the women especially might start to feel a sense of peace and a sense of purity. Purity is the energy that comes through a lot. Kawina knows about this energy. It's an energy that's it's such a gift for women, because we've been polluted for so long with our own judgments and with societal judgments, and that whole archetypal stress that women have had to live with for centuries. Okay, but that's starting to shift. So the Mary energy is very pure, and that comes through often. So what I'm saying is, when you're on the table, I work with a combination, whoever's coming through for you. It's got nothing to do with me. I don't stand there and go, right, today I feel like working with Archangel Michael, or let's work with this today. You know, I literally ask to be of service, and I have an agreement with myself that when I walk into my healing room, that my ego stays at the door. I send it off to go and have a nap, you know, or sit and watch telly or something, and my body becomes of service, and I know that I can feel everybody taking a deep breath, because you know what that's like when you just let go and you go into the state of service where you just become selfless. You know, mothers do it naturally. If you've had children, you know what it's like. You forget what our needs, because our children are the most important need. And we're so sensitive. We can pick up what they need without them having to speak it. And I believe that's one of the greatest intuitive gifts I've been given, is that I have become that sensitive, that's the same way I work with women and men on my table, and children. So a combination of beings, technology, the energy, and sometimes all I do is hold a hand for 10 minutes, and there'll be tears and releases, and that's all that needs to be done. Sometimes I'll work, you know, with a child, and I'll have, because somewhere that child's afraid of being touched, I'll have one hand on their knee and one hand up in the air, in the air, the child will go to sleep and their body's flicking and shaking as it moves and releases things out through the meridians. So a lot of this is about clearing our meridians. And does everyone know what a meridian is? Yep. Okay, is there anybody who doesn't understand what a meridian is? Don't feel, no? Yeah, okay. So you've heard of acupuncture? Okay, so running through your body, you've got veins, like a circulatory system has blood veins running through it, with blood veins, or you've got your smaller arteries and your bigger things. So that's all flowing through your system. That's on a physical level. On an energy level, you've got energy lines running through you. Now these energy lines aren't just within the body, are they? They actually come right from above you. They flow right through you, right out through your feet and back up around you. Okay, and they're coming back into your head again, or they cycle out through your hands and they flow out through your hands from your heart, out through your hands, back out and back up into your body again, or back down into your feet. Now my belief is that when a person is really glowing and really flowing and they've got that energy flowing through their meridians, that's the angels. You know, there's these incredible points right at the back of your shoulder blades where when energy's really flowing, that's the back of your heart, and the energy actually pours out of there and it's flowing right up out the back. And what does that look like? Your wings. So when you're really in that space and your heart is open and you can actually let go, that's when things start to flow and really, really start to release. Okay, so that's our goal. And when people come to my table or come into my space, or even as I look at you all now, I don't see the shit. You know, I don't see the chunks of armor. You know, I see who you are, and some people it's uncomfortable for them. They come like, shit. No, God, she knows who I am. You know, and oh my God, I'm lovable. You know, and so what happens is, in holding that space of vulnerability within myself, I allow you to be vulnerable too. Okay, and that's the gift that we give each other. And we've all been in a situation where we've held space for somebody or held their hand, and we've loved them enough that they've been able to cry with us and been able to let go. And even you, I can see you just going, you know, you're just lifting. It's learning that we don't need our shields. It's learning, once we've let go of our shields, how do we keep ourselves flowing again so that we don't grab the chunks back again. And it's learning that we're all flow. Nothing's ever stationary, that our bodies aren't just, we're going to hit this point of enlightenment and it'll be like that forever. We're all in a constant state of grace and a flow of grace that's moving through us, and a flow of grace that's coming from beyond us, through our cellular structure, through our meridians, through our bodies, through our hearts and our chakras, into the earth, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to anchor that. So how are we going for time? We've got a few more minutes. Okay, we're all happy? More? So that's the healing room. The other aspect of, and the technology, and you know, I know some people go, oh my God, I never have technology on my body. And I'm the same. You know, if you'd come up to me, I'm like, oh, I don't need technology. But I've worked with this technology for so long, and I've watched, when I switch on a particular cycle, I've watched, when I started doing metaphysics, I've watched massive entities come up, and I'm thinking, guys, this big thing's coming up through a person's body. And I watch it on a particular cycle. I'm told not to touch the body, and I'll see the heads blown off of it. These entities just get the hell out of that body. So I've learned a whole level of respect for it, and I've watched people that have got incredible souls, but the cellular structure is not keeping up. You know, they're 70, 80 years old, and their cellular structure is not keeping up with what their soul is asking them to do. And who of us know people like that? The souls are amazing, okay, but the body's being left behind. And I've had people on my table, I swear to God, I've had people on my table 71 years old, and they take away a little unit, come back in a month, and when I'm working on their body, it's like working on the life force of a 40-year-old. Now, I'm not here to sell you technology because it's not my deal, but I'm here to sell you on the fact that I want clients that come in my door because they want to make a shift that is permanent, dramatic, and ongoing. You know, I don't want people to come back every week or every month and go, oh my God, you know, and they're back in the same place again. Because no, that's not doing my job. My job is to wake you up to your magnificence, to your presence, okay? And teach you tools. We're all teaching each other all the time, but give you tools so that once you let it go, you never have to go back into that space again. And you can be gone within a breath. Okay, so that's my prayer, is to have people that once they've had that shift, it's an ongoing shift. Am I right? Is that, you guys understand that? Okay. So who can read this? Blessed are the cracked, for they let the light in. Okay? So what I'm talking about, the way that we get to that place of constantly letting things go is by doing what? Letting go. Yeah, releasing. Letting go. Just having the courage to keep letting go. Don't hold on to anything. Okay? And this is based on a talk I gave about ascension, my understanding of what ascension is. So here's what our human body, and this is the planet Earth, and our role, and I'm happy to be wrong, but my experience of our role, my personal experience of my role, is to receive this incredible energy from the universe, whether we call it the sun, whether we call it the God, whether we call it Yahweh, Jehovah, you know, Christ consciousness, divine spirit, other names. Have I covered them yet? Bringing that through our hearts and our bodies and centering that, letting that go into the earth through our feet, just bringing that in. And then this point, this earth, if we're raising our consciousness, our vibration, and we're sending that into the earth, what's that doing to the earth? Exactly, cleansing and healing and lifting the vibration of the planet. And who thinks the planet needs that right now? Yeah. So if the planet, if we're letting go and our cellular structures are starting to break up from 2,000 years of oppression, if our cellular structures are starting to break up, what do you think is happening on the earth? The same thing. Okay, we had one of our meditation evenings, we had a chat there. We're all going around sharing the different aspects, our passions about what we would like to see healed within the earth. Okay, and one of these guys had a passion for tectonic plates. And that's because he was in Japan during that experience with the earthquakes. Now this chap, right inside his body, there was all this awful stuff going on. It was like his own internal tectonic plates were in trauma and completely disconnected. And he was a sensitive soul, so he absolutely felt it. So what happened on that night, and it was a beautiful series of events, I'd been up in a rainforest up on Tambourine Mountain and connected him with an incredible Archangel Uriel energy. I'm sitting there and I feel this Uriel, and I'm like, who are you? Who are you? And it says, I'm Uriel. And it just stayed with me for the day. I had to go home, curl up and lie down for an hour and a half, and it healed me. Has anyone had experiences lately where you're just drawn to just lie down, curl up? Yeah? And I want to just tell you, if you get that feeling like you start to feel really soft and gooey and mushy, like you want to curl up with a teddy, go and bloody well do it. You know, you're being told, often it's a presence, a beautiful presence is coming and sitting with you, and it's wanting to absorb into your cellular structure, into every single cell of your body and take you higher. But if you're rushing, if you're in the supermarket and you're running to grab the kids and you're going doing this, is that being or that energy or that higher aspect of yourself, is that going to be able to get into the cells? No. So just take the opportunity to curl up when you feel those things happening. Yes, so moving right along. So with these tectonic plates, what I'm saying is we were able to heal that on a night. This Archangel Uriel energy just came right through, went into this chap's body with the tectonic plates, and in healing that, it was as if in healing his tectonic plates within him, it was actually working on the earth underneath Japan. You know, there's going to be a lot of us that don't actually need to do the work. And what I experience is sometimes, you know, you'll be struggling along going, oh, I've got to write my affirmations, and I've got to do my mirror work, and I've got to, you know, be holy, and I've got to do all of this hard labor for many years. It's been really hard to make a shift in our cellular structures, but it's getting so much easier, isn't it? Yeah? Am I right? Yeah. You know, it used to take 6 months to deal with an emotional issue, and now you can be gone in an hour. You take a breath and let it go, and it's gone out of your body, gone out of your cellular structure, even out of your auras. This is real basic spirituality 101. Here's your physical body, and then you're all surrounded by several layers of auric fields. Does everybody understand that? Yeah? You want to know really well. I'm nearly done. I suppose I've got like 1 minute? Half a minute. So what happens is when you're on the table, what starts to happen, God willing, is we hold space to bring in those higher dimensions. You know, you've got these different levels of auric fields. Hold space to bring those higher dimensions of energy back into your cellular structure and actually anchor some of those high dimensional energies into your cellular structure and into your spine. Okay? So that when that energy is flowing through you, right, that life force is coming right up your spine, you're actually at a higher vibration. Okay? And that's part of what happens in the healing work. And then the result of that is a whole bunch of people who are bringing in that cosmic energy onto the earth. And that's how we're going to get through it. Okay? And every time we sing God, the Lord's Prayer, or we reach up and say, God, help me, or thank you, we're making a difference. Okay, so are there any quick questions about what I do, or am I pretty clear? Table. Meditation nights too. We have a whole meditation nights on Wednesday evenings, and we do full moon meditations once a month. And on the meditation evening, it's phenomenal. I get given a theme for the week, and then this incredible energy comes through, which I'll share with you in the next part of my section. And it's different each week, but it's so beautiful. And so I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you all. So thank you. I'd like to share with you, you don't have to use it again, but there's a beautiful, beautiful thing that the Hopi Indians do. When we clap, we're breaking up the energy, aren't we? We're making us, it's like, what is it? Sometimes when you're clearing energy in a room, instead of saging or what have you, you clap and you clear it. What the Hopi Indians do is they do this. So let's all do this. And see, what you're doing now is you're mirroring you're creating that beautiful vibration straight back.